There's still quite a bit of debate over the U.S. airstrikes in Syria. Those strikes that airstrike was in response to the alleged use of chemical weapons against civilians by Syrian President Bashar al-Assad.
We are joined this morning by the head of the Syrian American Foundation in Mason, Ashraf Traboulsi. Mr. Traboulsi, thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
First, give us, what was your initial reaction to hearing about those airstrikes last week?
It's difficult to see, the country being bombed by other countries, but at the same time, we are looking at Syrians for holding the Assad regime accountable for the crimes they have committed against its own population. So at one point, somebody needs to do something about what's going on.
You talk about what's going on. It's just incredible to me. You've got the Russians have a presence there. The Iranians have a presence there. The Kurds are fighting. You got Syrian opposition groups. You got Bashar al-Assad trying to hold on to power. The U.S. is helping the opposition to Assad. How do you sort through all of that? And you got hundreds of thousands of people living in misery.
Yes.
Between it all. How do you sort through all of this?
Well, I think the country is becoming a site for a proxy war between different players, and the victims are the populations. Mm-hmm. There needs to be a comprehensive strategy to deal with the conflict and de-escalate it and reach a peaceful resolution. That starts by holding the regime and its cronies and the militias that are fighting with them as responsible for their crimes against humanity, for their war crimes, for the bombings of civilians. Though there are too many players in there, the majority of the victims have been killed by the Assad regime and the militias supporting him. More than 90 to 95% of the victims have been killed by the Assad and his supporter. So it's clearly who is the culprit here. Yes, there are different players, but the regime needs to be held accountable for its crimes.
Who needs to do that? Because even the Trump administration doesn't seem to be putting out one clear message about this right now.
It is the U.S. and the international community who needs to do that. There needs to be a comprehensive strategy. The foreign militia that are supporting him need to be declared as terrorist organization. There need to be no-fly zone, over the country. There need to be safe havens for the civilian population. There need to be relief supplies that, brought to those people who are in need, who are besieged, some of them for more than 2 or 3 years. There need to be an international response to what's going on. And the more this does not happen, the more carnage we're going to see, and the more impact is going to be seen outside of Syria, because this is not going to be limited to Syria. It's actually, we're already seeing the fact that it's outside of the country.
Right, it's leaking over the borders into
Yes.
the other. The longer it goes on, I would suspect that there won't be the kind of structure in place to have a viable government after Assad leaves. Should he be deposed as well?
Well, I think we have to trust that the local population will have their ability to build their structures if there is the proper support and help granted to them. There were a lot of opportunities to do that in the past. Unfortunately, it has not been taken advantage of. And we know from previous conflict is the more the conflict drags on, the more difficult it is to resolve. We have seen that in Iraq, we have seen that in Afghanistan. So it is, and every time we have a conflict like this and we leave it unresolved, it creates chaos and it becomes a fertile ground for extremist organization to grow. Because the local population, when you are a father and you see your children killed and bombed and obliterated, you are going to support anybody who's defending you.
Yes.
So you create an opening for others to come and, just by the fact that they're going to support you, we're going to defend you, promote their ideology.
And that's a dire concern for all of us. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there. Mr. Traboulsi, thank you so much.
Thank you very much
for your time.